Hey, we are here with Maria Warlow from warlowconsulting.com, and we are going to be talking about how to overcome the bully cycle, how to break out of it, how to get past it, how to become your best self and get to where you need to go. Maria, glad to be talking to you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Robert. I'm trying to find out a way of actually correcting the bully cycle in such a way that it'll stop for good. My experience as a mother of two adult sons, and also I have a successful business as well. I run a very successful retail business, but my experience is talking to a lot of people. I've helped and talked to a lot of people about bullying. A lot of the mothers feel that they have no empathy as well from other people, blaming mothers of the cycle of bullying. Of course, they blame it on the mother. And also a lot of people might think this sounds a bit boring subject as well. For most people, they don't think they have affected by bullying. But how do you know that it won't come back to you and bite you when you are under stress, and might also come back and flood back anxiety, depression and aggression, especially with men think they have handled it and think that they're over it. My experiences through this issue bullying is I've been dominated and bullied myself and my two boys. And talking to a lot of mothers. Mothers, they say they need help and know where to go to get help. I hope to stop bullying not only your children's life and your own life as well as an adult. Well, the first thing the causes of a bully cycle is I find that there's quite a few different levels of steps, like in bullying. There's physical, emotional, written, verbal, as well as sexual. To me, the first thing is physical. I mean, a lot of people think that physical doesn't affect you in life. It does. Being continually physically hurt, kicked, harassed, embarrassed, kicking, hitting. And you can have scars for life over your face as well. Even asking for money. Some people do that when they're being bullied physically. They tack till you get money out of your pockets. Aggression stays with you also through to adulthood. And physical bullying grave affects victims' trauma for the rest of their lives. I especially experienced myself. I have a few stories about myself that I was shut down with verbal just once it took. And I was silent for up to 22, until I was 22. And then all I realized was that someone stopped me by saying one word. It's amazing how bullying can affect you mentally. And verbally, who hasn't been called a name? Stupid. Stupid, no good for nothing, psycho. Who hasn't been called names that doesn't affect them? I remember a guy telling me he went on holidays, came back wearing a pair of spectacles, and they called him Four Eyes, and he never recovered from that till he was in his 50s. He realized, actually, after I spoke to him a bit about what was the matter, what held him back, he says he found out by going to therapy over that 4-eye name caused him to stop to go ahead with his life and divorce because he thought he wasn't good enough or good looking enough over a period of that just one sentence. It also affects, even when you go to adulthood, I find that naming stays with you a lot longer than emotional comes fairly high up, but verbally you seem to have it in your head and never goes away. what I'm saying about adult bullying, it stays with you. People think that if you handle it, it goes away, but it stays sometimes in your head, and then one day it comes back when you're in the same kind of stress level, depression level. I find that adults think that that's nothing to do with bullying. So many times I speak to people every day. I really talk to a lot of people saying, I don't know why I act like this. And then you talk back to them and they say, I said, have you ever been bullied? No. Yes, have you ever been bullied? And before they know it, they actually come out with it, saying they were bullied, and then just click. They just click and they say, wow, is that all that time over something that happened years ago, and it still stays with them. What else? It's also sexual bullying. I mean, a lot of boys tend to do that to girls, as far as I know of. But I've had experience with girls doing to boys as well. I actually stayed at school one day, and one of the girls were picking on a boy in front of me, and I actually about sexual, how ugly he looked. He wouldn't be good in bed, and at a very young age he was. And I turned around and I said, oh, you must like him a heck of a lot. And she got embarrassed by that because she didn't like him. She just was picking on him about his sexual life. A sexual thinking of life, I should say. I can't say that. Emotional level is very big as well. Emotional affects you, feelings and understanding a lot about how you feel towards friends and like, for instance, if you're pretty, being picked on about how you are pretty, sometimes it can cause you emotional so much that you want to kill yourself over it. I know a girl was at school. She was watching this girl being picked on because she was pretty thin, and the girl said, I want to kill myself. And the girl said, why? She says, I just want to kill myself because everyone's picking on me on the way I look. She wanted to go out and kill herself. Only the fact that the girls outside heard her, they told the principal and told the mother, or else they would have went on forever. But anything that hurts feelings is pretty serious. It damages emotionally for life. Emotionally bullying blames themselves too, and suffers a long life effects, cause a lot of mental issues, and will stay with them forever. What else do I have? Written one, cyber attack. I mean, you don't have to have cyber, only computers and that and phones, but you can also have just a written paper sent in the classroom, sent at work if you're an adult as well. You can be bullied by just a piece of paper saying you're no good at your work, you're not good at school, you're not good for nothing. But there's a lot of cyber attack. I remember one boy at school, he was picked on because of his skin at school and called a name, and then they put that on website, and they found that the boy found that out, and he really went crazy over it and nearly killed himself over that too. So cyber can really affect you, and written messages help a lot too. What else can I say? My opinion, though, I've experienced a lot of people telling me that it used to be 14, and now I reckon it's about 9 years old that kids tend to feel the emotions and physical and all verbal very hard. And my opinion said to start earlier, and earlier the better, because I feel that the magic word I always feel that it is asking the kid, how's your day? And they say bad, or they don't say nothing at all. Sometimes if you use the word I feel, how do you feel your day went? Sometimes they come out better in an answer than if you say, why do you feel like that? And feeling can also, the word feeling can also work as well as for adults as well. If they're in a situation, any emotional upset, feeling, the word feeling is a big thing. I always feel that the young kids should start writing journals as young as, and journals doesn't mean just writing, stickers. If they're unhappy, put them in books every day, show the parents or show the teachers to have some kind of verbal communication at a very young age. The younger, the better. I find that also playing out bullying in class as an education thing, and stop, even how to stop it with how to be, like say stop it really hard and strong in front of the kids so they learn how to say that. I find that a lot of this thing is very important as early as possible, because it even prevents bullying in kindergarten, because I've already experienced that too. A little girl came in the classroom, came to the shop one day, and she was smiling the smile was so big that I thought, oh, what a wonderful smile, I said to the mother. I said, pity that I hope to God that she never gets bullied. And she said, come to think of it, she just got bullied the other day, and that smile hasn't come off her face. And this is a 3-year-old, not a 5-year-old, but a 3-year-old. And she said, what do you think I should do? And I said, I would go and get some help, because that strong, that smile was so stiff, it didn't look real, and I felt sorry for her. And then she said, you know what? It's better to be, what's the word? Better be safe than not sure. She said, okay, I'm going to take it to a therapist. And she actually contacted me. The girl did stop smiling so stiffly. It was amazing. Just one session, it really helped her. What else? That's what I feel as early as possible is one of my biggest passion, is the fact that it start early. What else can I say? I won't say what. The common conception about bullying is that they think that bullying is a part of childhood. Everyone thinks it's normal. It toughens you up. Perhaps the most stereotypical view is bullying is the biggest bullying misconception. I think that this way we can have serious consequences of both victims and bullies. Bullies should not be tolerated. Letting the bully continue picking on others, it's a reinforcement of their behaviour. It sets up making poor choices in the rest of their lives. I know bully suffers a lot. Bully suffer too, but not the same as a victim. But the bully does suffer something that will carry with him the rest of life. He's maybe not understanding what they're doing. I know that bullying can affect anxiety. Anxiety, I had my 2 boys, anxiety, depression. Anxiety is a big thing for young kids. They get it very early and very early stage, as early as kindy. But it's not really noticeable till they get about 8 to 9, because of experiences, what happens to them at kindy or school. If they get bullied or anxiety will come up then. Many bullies are very confident people, mostly, not the other way around. Confident bullies, they're usually very smart and very confident, more so than we think that they are the other way around. But I was going to say, I went blank. Bullies from boys mainly are usually show more aggression than girls do. Girls tend to go emotional. They tend to pick on with words and and words and spreading rumors, really. Boys are the ones I'm worried more about because they go for physical and the aggression stays with them in a lot. I remember talking to a father about his son being bullied at school. So the first thing he did, he went to teach him judo or something to offend himself, to help himself. But then I said to him, how old is he? 9. And I said to him, that might not be finished yet. Have you had some help for him? He said, no. I have been bullied all my life. I went every day to school after cricket and it didn't affect me. It took me half an hour to find out that it did. He did finally say to me that he had experienced some moments of very strong aggression. And I said, well, don't you think that applies to your bullying all those years? And he took a few minutes and he said, yeah, I realize now. But it took ages to get him to see that. That's what I'm trying to say. Men tend to keep violence and aggression as if it's part of being a man or a boy, whatever. But effects of bullying can affect the mind a lot more. And other mental issues come up from it. Mental issues like they can't handle anything like they want to. They can't make friends as they want to. They don't socialize very well, and maybe not even doing their work properly, because bullying can affect schoolwork right up to not even going to school, actually not finishing school. Because a lot of kids I know that got bullied didn't finish school or get schooled at home because the parents couldn't deal with it. But it gets to a stage that bullying should not be taken lightly, because I reckon it stays with them a lot longer than most people say it does. And reluctant to some boys are reluctant to talk to their parents about being bullied because it's not a masculine thing to do, is to talk to parents about bullying, because bullying, as quickly as possible, can help the bullying to stop. But boys tend to keep it a bit longer than girls. Usually you can hear girls more than boys, and boys tend to keep the information to themselves. I just think they should be trying as hard as possible, as early as possible, to learn how to fix this up. And the earlier we do that, we wouldn't have any violence or anything. I find that violence and aggression might even come when you're adults and when you're not happy with your marriage, and they'll come out, or something that doesn't make you feel comfortable, or also make you feel, it brings back memories of the past. Victims usually lose self-esteem. They also get a little bit of trouble at school, withdrawn from friends and activities. I found that my son used to run upstairs in his bedroom and stay there for hours, not talking to anybody. And he used to be very talkative. So I find that sometimes it's harder for victims to talk about things like that. That's why I'm really passionate about that word, feel. How you feel about what's happening to you. And it's a very big word. It's a big word to use when it comes to bullying. And they also find hard to socialize, and depression issues as well. Also, forget about just victims. Bullies are they have a problem too, because they can't really understand what they're doing. I think that when one person bullies a victim, like a kid bullies a victim, a child, a friend or whatever, what do I want to say? when they want to bully someone, they, oh, I can't think what I'm doing now. I forgot what I was going to say. The problems don't go away because they don't know how to speak about what they're thinking, what they're doing it. And usually they do it because of friends and because their friends are doing it. I remember one boy saying that when you're being bullied, you want to go to the bullies because it helps you feel protected. And what happens when you're protected with bullies, you stay with them and you become one of them. What I mean is they tend to copy each other. They become more aggressive as they get older as well because they continue it. They don't let it go. If it works at school, it works everywhere else. I know that bullying, people say domination is not dominate. They don't dominate, but they do dominate. I remember a teacher telling me, there's two different meanings of bullying and dominate, but it's very, very close. And to dominate that much that you cannot think or do what you want to do or you want to get out of it. You can run away, but not always helps. I think they have to show kids how to say, like for instance, show that when you, oh geez, one second. I can't remember what I was saying now. Bullies may never learn effectively to solve problems when bully problems first arise. They need a lot of help. I feel that when one gets a bully that bullies someone, a victim should be both need some sort of therapy in both cases. That means that if the victim gets bullied, they should have help. And the bully should have some therapy as well. They seem to give the bully punishment, maybe suspension or a little. I remember one kid said that he had to sign before and after each class, and if he forgot, he had to start all over again. But that's not enough to teach a bully what he's doing. He needs to have therapy, which people tend to let that go. And poor victim, but they're not helping the bully to understand what he's doing. They should have a conversation between each other why he's bullying him and vice versa, because it's a very education way of learning, even for the teacher and everybody else, about bullying. Bullying should be done a therapy for both levels. What do you if your child's a victim bully? Sometimes the worst nightmare is a parent finding out that the kids are having being bullied. It is one of the worst things ever, because all you want to do is go there and just go in there and hurt the person involved with it. I remember one case, my son was bullied for quite a while, and he hit back with a lunchbox, actually. I remember that, right across the face. And I was sent to the school, and I sat there while the other parent went up the stairs to the classroom. And he was really angry. He was a very big man. He frightened the hell out of me. I sat there. I did tell the teacher that my son was bullied by these 3 kids, but she said she didn't have enough time or ability to keep looking at where these boys were. So my son hit him across the face, and the father was angry. He says, why did that boy hit my son? And the teacher did actually help me for once, that she actually said that these boys were picking on him, so he actually attacked back. And I saw the father walking down the stairs, and the father hit him behind the head and said, "You're a stupid boy." And I'll never forget that my son got suspended, but he didn't. He didn't get anything. He didn't get anything. My son got suspended because he fought back, and nobody saw what the other kid did. And I was wondering why they both didn't get some help. Why did one get punished and one doesn't? And what I mean by punishment, I mean punish for the bully, but punishment in such a way that they should be learning why they're being victimized. So if I know what I'm talking about there, yeah. Because victimization is a big thing for a kid that keeps being bullied nonstop. And that's what bullying is. It's continually hitting, kicking, and embarrassing, and it never stops. It's in your head. I remember my son say, "Why do I not help him?" As a parent, all you want to do is go up to school and complain. But as I talk to a lot of parents, some parents are becoming bullies themselves. They actually go up to the school and standing up for their kids become bullies themselves. They attack the kids that are involved, and sometimes it never settles by doing that, of course. But I remember one father went to the school. The son told his father that if this kid hits you in the head, let it go once, twice, and then the third time you tell the teacher. So he came home and he said to his father, "I cannot handle a hit in the head another time." He said, I want you to do something for me. I want you to do something. And the father said, "What do you want me to do?" He said, if the teacher can't see it, how can it be stopped? So the father was so frustrated, he walked to the class. He went in the class and he said, "Excuse me, Mrs. whatever it was, Mrs. say Stevenson." He walked in, he said, "Look, I want a few words with the classroom." And the teacher was overwhelmed. She didn't know what he was going to say. He said, "I just want to say a few words, nothing really dramatic." Yeah? He said, I want to tell whoever is bullying my son to understand what you're doing to my son. It might be your sister or your brother, what you're doing to my son. I want you to stop. Is that understood? So he walked out of the classroom, and the next day the principal rang him up and told him to come up. He said, "You're not allowed to do that ever, 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 ever again." He said, "What do you want me to do?" I told the school that my son was getting hit. My son told the teacher he was getting hit, but was never seen or acted on. And so parents are getting very frustrated. They're doing a lot more than most people. I remember a teacher telling me, "You have no idea how bullying, how parents push their way in to get some result from their kids." They shouldn't ever take bullying lightly. Bullying is very severe, and if it starts being physical and hitting and bashing and leaving marks, and it's starting to show, and the kids are being picked on even more.
So from what you've been saying here is that we need to communicate more, right? That
yes, especially mothers. Mothers should come into a group to talk about it more. I think they're embarrassed more than anything else as a mother, because the first thing they blame is the mother. A mother is the one who disciplined the child. So the father does too, but the mother does it more because she sees them more than they do, especially when they're younger. And the communication between mothers, they're so embarrassed by it, they don't talk about it. Only someone that just on their last feather, they can't handle anymore, that they talk. Because I tell you, I get it without even asking. I just get out with what they want to say. They're that frustrated. And I always thought, see, my kids went to school quite a few years ago, and I thought that was finished. I actually thought that wasn't carrying on, but it's still carrying on, because every day I get at least one mother. She said, I remember one at the hospital said to me, She says, I go to school, my son's a bully. The teacher blames me straight away. She said, what do you want me to do? I have no idea, no skills to stop him. I tried getting help. Oh, you get a lot of government help, but it does not always work because they don't know a lot of the real things that happen at school. I know some things happen at home too. Bullying is a very big thing, even at home in some cases. Some parents expect a lot more from their kids and they tend to bully them to get that far. But also parents, they tend to think that, not only parents, I think it's a go and get what you want these days. I mean, look at the world at the moment. Just look over America, for instance. You can't say an opinion. You can't say you're wrong without getting yelled and bullied at to give in. I mean, why is the world going like that? If that is what the kids are seeing, that's what it's going to be in the world to the next 20, 30 years, worse. Because
like what you've been saying, that the bullying has been working, right? That it's easy to fall into the pattern of aligning with the bully or bullying to get what you want. And when you're young and you get this result, then it's easy for that to just continue on and continue the pattern, and pass it on to the next generation, everything.
Yeah, and even the workplace, even adults are finding that the bullying continues even there. And the thing is, in school, there's a lot more chance of fixing it up than it is in a workplace. Workplace is hard because it's worse. It's more embarrassing, more you can't talk about it, because if you talk to you might be lucky to get someone who goes on your side. But I had a girlfriend just recently just left her job because I told her to leave it, because I kept saying, oh, you're being bullied. And she said, no, I'm not. I said, she's saying you're not doing a good job. She's looking at your work. She's saying that you don't spend enough time on your work. What does that mean? Are you not doing your work? She said, yes, I am. And then she found out after that she didn't want her being in that job. So it's the same thing in schools as well. School, if they don't like you for some reason, if even your religion, the way you look. I remember at school I was chubby, and I still am a little bit now, but I was chubby when I was at school. And I remember one guy saying to me, I would like you if you just lose some weight. And then it carried on. He always said, oh, if you lost weight. And that gets to your head, and that's when all the weight problems come in. I mean, mine was minor, but there's a lot of people that just saying that it's enough to cause other bulimia and all the other weight problems that girls go through. And girls do go by their body issues. If they look awful, they are, but then it could be either awful or you could be too pretty. You can't win as a woman, as a girl. Boys is more physical. If you're not physical enough, you're no good for nothing, because you have to fight back. But I just find that if it's not dealt with very early, it's not going to be fixed. It's going to continue, and it's going to get a lot worse. It's going to be, I know suicidals there too these days, and they're starting younger and younger to kill themselves over being bullied. And I know a few people that have been bullied. I mean, there's been on the news quite a bit. A little girl got bullied so much that on cyber she got bullied and she killed herself. I mean, what makes you go that far at a young age? And you're just wondering what they're thinking at that age, that they couldn't live with that. And it's a very big thing. Bullying is, I just feel that bullying has to be stopped and treasured a bit more. What I mean by that is looked into a lot more, and it's also causing mental issues and mental issues of other things as well. People think that bullying is just bullying, but you're just wondering all the violence that men do, for instance. I'm not saying women don't do it, but men do it, and some women do it too. The ones that more tend to be bullies, and women can be bullies as well. I remember one child at school, was bullying a boy just because she was bigger than him. And it was really, really shockingly how the little boy couldn't hack that as a boy. He just couldn't. He didn't understand why a girl was bossing him around. So girls can do as bad as, but girls are more emotional. They tend to be talking bad about you more than physical, but they do it. But boys are the ones I'm worried about more, because there's more suicidals for boys than there is girls. And
so you've mentioned that this whole bullying thing, it expresses itself in different ways, right? And you said earlier on that there were kind of like these subcategories, like there's that sexual and the physical and emotional, and sometimes it kind of eats at you over time, and sometimes the effects of bullying, it gets kind of maybe stuck in your head, and you end up with this kind of repeat behavior. So we've said that it's important to be journaling these thoughts, and you said that it's important to mention that I feel. That way we can catch these problems early on, we can get to the root of the problem, and that way we can, like in the case of children, they can take it to the school, take it to the parents, and try to deal with the big picture, deal with the parents and the victim and the bully and the bully's parents, so that way everyone communicates, so that we avoid all this lost time you're mentioning, where you get picked on for something early on and it holds you back in life, and then maybe even repeats itself, and maybe you are maybe unequipped to deal with the bully problems in the workplace later in adult life. And so there's a lot that you've given us to think about and a lot of solutions. But as we begin to wrap up, wind down here, what would you say is like the most helpful thing for you if someone is dealing with bullying at any age? What's something that we all need to be thinking about, considering that we're missing these days?
Actually, just recently, I just realized that I've been bullied and dominated, not before. So I'm pretty old now. And what helped me was looking into a mind, searching what's triggering your mind that way. Mindset, learning how your mind works. For instance, why do you feel like that? Have the negative and the positive. And why did you let that person do that to you? And the big question, because sometimes it's you that's accepting the bullying. And it's a very big step to really wake up to that one. And I tell you, it takes a long time to wake up if you don't start early. The later you leave it, the harder it comes. It doesn't come out that easily. It just came out one day when I was speaking to somebody, just bleh, and I said, wow, I never really clicked that's what my problem was. Right?
And that makes sense, because the longer you put up with that, the tougher it is to unlearn. And the longer you're in that kind of victimization, then you don't, when you're not asking yourself why, you're not aware of all the options that you have to get out of a situation. And if you keep on letting it happen and you're just letting it slide, then at a certain point, you're making a decision to let it happen to you, right?
Yeah, well, as I said, since I've been doing a lot of mindset courses and that, it really woke me up to realize that if you let it happen, right, you let it happen, even though you're victimized, but you let it happen to you. Unless you come to terms with it, it will stay there forever and it will never budge. So what it's such a relief when you realize it. It lightens you up. It's just amazing how your mind is it's a machine that we don't really understand enough, as far as I'm concerned. And I think the government should really get into helping mental issues with this a lot more than that would solve a lot of other issues. I would say even diabetic, weight issues, what else they could, depression, all this. And I think it runs from the beginning, that we don't deal with such a young age, how we remember a lot of things when we're younger, and we can block it out and it'll come back when we're about to do something or something happens to us, very, like something really, even someone dying, it might come back. You say you can't handle this, and also you get anxiety and you don't know why you're so anxiety and depressed over it. Okay, death, yes, but there's a lot of other little issues coming back from way back that it can. I feel that young people, one time was 14 years old, teenager, but they're starting earlier and earlier, the young kids nowadays, with problems. It's not normal for an 8-year-old to have problems in their minds, but they do. I mean, I've talked to so many parents. The only thing that fathers mainly tell the kids to fight back, but what happens when they fight back? At school, for instance, they get suspended and they get expelled, especially boys. There's going to be a lot more kids, a lot more boys getting expelled from school because they fight back. And I feel that, when I told that, the boy said to me, oh, Dad taught me how to fight back. I said, but that's not going to help you at school. I said, it might help you to maybe once it might help, but if he the bully keeps coming back, what are you going to do then? You're going to keep fighting. And the boy said, well, Daddy told me so. I said, yeah, I agree with it. I've done it myself. I did it when I was at school. I got bullied by a tall girl one day. She just came and punched me in the stomach for no reason. And I punched her back. But the fact is, that worked for me, but it doesn't always work. If they can come back
what happens if there's a group coming at you, or what happens if you seriously injure someone else? Yeah,
they usually stick in groups. When bullies, they don't have one person; they can have up to 10 people. So you can have 10 people bullying you at one go. How would that feel? It would not feel very well. And groups are getting bigger.
Yeah, and because it's easier just to fall into that. And so what's the next step here? If someone is watching or listening to our conversation today and they say a lot of this clicks with me, they might say, I have children who are being bullied, or maybe some of this baggage that was stuck in my head is now coming to the surface. What action would you like people to take? Would you like people to contact you? Or would you like people to go and get a specific book or training course? Or what action would you like someone to take if they say this makes this conversation makes a lot of sense to me? What's the next step?
To me, I would like to get a community of women or mothers to speak together with me, and we can learn a lot more. I know doctors can help and all that, but I think we need to be talking to mothers. I know that some mothers are more protected than others, but talking to me in a group, we might find out a lot more things. And, I reckon that'll help a lot of mothers. I think the mothers need talking a lot more. They need to communicate with somebody. And I don't think schools, I don't think doctors, because I don't think every mother feels that talking to a doctor saying that you're not doing the right thing, or a teacher not doing the right, is helping them either to help their child.
Okay, so start with the mothers. And what is your contact information, or where do people?
Oh yeah, I'm what's it called? Bullying.Warlow Consulting.
Bullying.warlowconsulting.com.
Yes, I forgot.
Okay, fantastic. And if you are a mother dealing with bullying, wanting to help out with bullying, and you want to join this community, bullying.warlowconsulting.com. And in these last final seconds here, Maria, is there anything you think that we left out, or any final lasting statement you'd like to say to us today?
I would say do something as soon as you can, as fast as you can. That means if your child's getting bullied, I think they need help as soon as possible. That means whatever age they are.